Hey guys, we're in another episode of MC Anime. This is the 17th episode. I'm
Hey
MC Anime.
everyone, what's up? I'm Leah. Great to talk with you guys again.
We actually have
Uh,
something special today. What are we doing today, Leah?
Today we are exuding the masculine urge to go ahead and train every single day, and then eventually try and fight and kill our father. Because we're talking about Baki.
Classic Baki. So, for anyone that doesn't, what is exactly Baki in stereotypical anime sense and manga?
Um, Baki is a fighting combat anime. It came out a few years ago in 2001. It was written by Kisuke Ikataki, and so no, I said that wrong. Itakaki, my bad. So he released it in 2001 under Baki the Grappler. It's basically following the show of a high school student who every single day trains with mixed martial arts, using all forms. So that way, kind of like MMA fighting. So in a way, he can keep becoming stronger, beating up anyone who comes across him, and then eventually becoming strong enough to take on his old man. The classic anime trope where they're just trying to get stronger so they can finally take out like someone who wronged them in their past.
Reminds me, I'm your father, and a plot. You face the father in the end, or the child tries to beat the dad into submission. Is that what the
See,
type of
I
plot is?
I would say it's similar to that, except in this one, Baki's father, who is Yujiro Hanma, he
Mm.
is the he's one of the coldest like main antagonists you're gonna find in anime. But the great thing about him is that he knows he's evil and go it just leans all the way in. When you're first introduced to him in Baki, you learn that he has been basically traveling the world and spreading his seed everywhere to get just have strong children who will eventually one day dethrone him as the world's strongest man. That's all he wants. He just wants someone to beat him up so he can finally stop being the world's strongest man. And until then, he's just out there causing chaos, just knocking heads and breaking bones.
True. Now, if it was be a case of being dethroned, what would that mean for him? Would that actually mean that he can have to retire and go on with his life, or does it just means another installment of the franchise under the dad and son partnership?
Honestly, I think if it actually got to the point where he is beaten by Baki, and that's something that we can all come to accept as being real life, I think that's where the show would end. I don't think that they would continue on. Because the thing about the Hanma family is that Yujiro Hanma, he his story arc is he was born at like 4 or 5 months old because he was just tired of being in the womb. He has back muscles that are so intense they look like a demon's face. So if you ever see it, they call it the demon back. And if you see it, that means you're going to die. And he just goes around, and if he creates a child and he fights that child and that child isn't strong enough, he murders the mother because he's disappointed. So I don't think that they would want to do anything after that. Like I don't think they would want to do a spinoff where Baki has his own kid. And it's like, 3 generation thing. I think they just I think they would cut it.
What did you say about the mother and the child? The heck? That just
You
you
didn't
said it so casually.
Oh yeah, because that's actually how you're introduced to him in Baki. I think for the grappler, he he murders Baki's mom in front of him, and this is why Baki actually wants to fight him. He murders her by essentially like doing a bear hug around her and breaking her spine. Um, and then he does that casually. He's like, "Come find me when you're stronger," and then he leaves, like kind of like in Kill Bill. Like he just absolutely takes out one of his baby mamas and then just goes about his day. He's a cold-hearted dude. It makes total sense why Baki is obsessed with wanting to beat his father.
see. What a strange motivation that it creates for the main character. Like, I know it's typically you want to be better than the father and all that stuff, but like to have a bear hugging contest to see who will win, and then leave them for
Beat him at his own
just
game.
leave them. What, are they going to bear hug for the victory? Does he actually do that?
Yeah, he actually does that. Yeah, he 100% does that. And then when that's in Baki the Grappler. So just to make it clear when folks want to go through and watch it, Baki the Grappler is the one, the OG one. You're probably better off trying to find the manga because trying to find it online was difficult. We found it on YouTube. I think it's like one straight, like 10 hour, what is it, like 5 hours or something, 3 hours. How many episodes is in the first season? Like 28, whatever long. They just have one
Yeah.
whole video of that. But then Netflix in 2018 released Baki, um, just his first name. They released that in like two parts, and then they released parts 3 and 4 called Baki Hanma in
Hmm.
2020. So there's three different story arcs.
Yeah, that's why also with you get a bunch of Netflix that is not the original Baki. Confusion that you get right there.
Hmm.
And if you're like Leah, well, who knows, you might get it confused with the wrong Baki.
What do you mean? Which one did I get confused with? What? Don't just go spreading this information to the fans. What a random time to attack me for no reason. I'm out here minding my business, trying, trying to like add knowledge to the people. See,
Oh yeah, and with Baki, you can have a strength of willpower and see whose will is stronger and can beat the other.
honestly, that is a big part of the show. That is actually it. Yeah, you do have the power. Like you have the power of friendship kind of in Baki, but not enough that it like wins every single fight. There's been quite a few like devastating fights that have
Hmm.
happened. But before we get to those, to do a run through of some of the other characters besides the Hanma family, uh, there is Biscuit Oliver, who is a ginormous African American dude who is like the top bounty hunter in the world. But at the same time, he's a prisoner in a maximum security prison. But he's best friends with Baki's father. He's incredibly strong. It's kind of disturbing. He could eat steaks in like 2 bites. His character's insane.
Hmm. You admire to eat steaks when you grow up in 2 bites. Actually, no, you can
I
top
mean,
it by one whole entire bite. You go.
see, I don't know if I want like Scooby Doo eating abilities though. Like I feel, I feel like at some point somebody at the table's got to say something. Like,
Or you could be like one. You'd be like Luffy, give like a giant balloon and then go back to normal size.
ah, that's fair. One Piece, One Piece fans are everywhere. So besides Biscuit Oliver, there is also Kozue Matsumoto. She is the love interest of Baki that you meet. Like she is the landlord's daughter of his building. Baki's basically living on his own because his father left. Like his father abandoned him after killing his mother. So he's been living with these folks. Fell
Yeah,
in
I
love with
wouldn't
the
want to make an
daughter
enemy of the landlord. That's your bread and butter. And if you make him mad, you get kicked out.
immediately. And it's hard in these streets. And it's getting cold? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And then there is a Dopo Orchiro. His nickname is the God of War, and then
Hmm.
naturally he also has the bald head. And he does rock an eye patch at a certain point in the show. Uh, he he's a grandmaster when it comes to karate. Has a group called the Shinshinkai. He's an absolute monster, and you meet all of these characters except for Oliver. You don't meet him till later, but you meet them all in the first arc of the Baki series on Netflix during the prisoner arc,
Hmm.
which is absolutely ridiculous.
So speaking
I
of
love
God
it.
of War, does he have like the red string down the head and the shoulder? that he can wield a weapon
I
as well.
I wish. I absolutely wish. Like God of War 2, I
Oh.
love. Boy. Oh my god. It makes me want a son. So warm,
Oh,
so
you
present.
just, oh gosh.
But if for most people you guys are gonna watch Baki, the very first one from 2018 for parts 1 and 2, you're gonna get introduced into the prisoner arc where you're gonna have basically Baki is the strongest high schooler or the strongest boy in the world is what they call him. World's
Yeah,
strongest boy. And
he's
that's
the
because yeah, because he does underground fighting.
he's the big bad of the bowling scene.
I don't know why
What?
Big Bad never sounds as intimidating as I'm sure that's what they mean.
Oh, he's the
Like,
big bad
ooh.
of the bowling scene.
Yeah,
Watch out when the high school network get on town, because the underground's gonna come to you.
there was so much about that. I wanted to stop. But for Baki, you're introduced to him as doing underground fighting, and he gets approached basically by the mayor or the president of this fighting ring to let him know that I believe it's like 10 murderous, world's deadliest death row inmates have all escaped their facilities around the world at the same time. They show you in differing ways how these people escape, and they're all headed to Japan to
That sounds like
fight
a
Baki.
controversy. But that sounds like a controversy.
What do you mean?
I mean, that sounds like a controversy all at the same time to go to Japan. Come on. You can't
Straight
tell
to
me that's a
Japan.
coincidence. You cannot tell me that they break up at the same time to face the same person.
Unfortunately, Baki also has these questions, and everyone tells him the exact same thing. It's the fighting spirit, and they tell
Oh,
you that they're coming to taste defeat. I love this story arc.
oh
It's
my
so
gosh.
ridiculous. The way that they escape, like you have different characters. Like you have Hector Doyle, who is like this British assassin who's also like when you shown him, he gets electrocuted. You think he's dead, and then he just wakes up and laughs and he's having a good time. He like reconstructed his body to have weapons inside of it. You got Kurosky, who is like a Russian convict. When he escapes, he's like in a giant well that's like 200 feet deep, and he just
Uh-huh.
climbs out using his fingertips to dig into the crevices of the wall. And that's how he escaped. No one shot him as he was going up. They just he just climbed out. So you get introduced to these characters and they have to go up against Baki. But luckily he has like a team of martial art teachers that come along and fight alongside him.
So what?
It's
So did Baki eventually beat his father to get the title, or
That's
is
the
he
thing.
trying
We're
to
not even
compete in
there
this?
yet.
Oh, so he's just trying to compete in the tournament to try to qualify for his father.
No. This is what I mean. Baki is all fighting. Like the show itself, the concept of it all is just all fighting.
No.
So when you're even introduced to these people, you do get like screen time of Yujiro, but he is just chilling. He's not fighting his son. He barely fights anyone else because he's, that strong. They build him up like the Thanos of the show. So you just have to
Just
so in
snap
the
your
meantime,
fingers.
yeah, so in the meantime
A
of
blip. What
hoping
happens?
Baki, gets revenge, you just watch other grown men just beat the crap out of each other
Imagine the
all
blip
day, every
5 years
day.
later in Baki. They're all stronger.
That would be terrifying. Just walking arm
the, al-
muscles.
the alternating reality effects of the power stone all in one.
That's absolutely terrible. If I got blipped out and I came back to characters of Baki stronger than what they were before, you know what they like? Imagine that episode of SpongeBob when he has the inflatable arms and he's like walking around with them. That's
Yeah.
what I see. That is
Or
that
he's
is
trying to
nightmare
prove
fuel.
who's more macho and trying to fake an injury in the eye.
Oh my god, no.
The toothpaste.
I'd be
He's
like,
just going on the. and he's
send
just
me back
telling,
to non-existence.
and he's just telling the tales of dead of sailors. Oh god.
So, so that is like the basic synopsis of Baki. You get introduced to a plethora of characters who are all ridiculously strong. They all have their different, backstories that you get a little bit of insight
Mhm.
in. You see how they intertwine with each other. And it takes forever for Baki and his father to get to fighting. But they do have fights in between that are pretty interesting. So I'm gonna cover like three of them. So hopefully you guys get excited to at least watch those before you have to see Baki.
Yeah,
You
we
know.
had Dorian versus Dopo.
So Dorian, Mr. Dorian, he is a American prisoner. Well, he's an American fighter who's now on death row. He's one of the death row inmates. He knows Chinese Kempo, which is a form of martial arts, and he's also, I don't know, he's just oddly strange. He looks like a buff Santa Claus.
Have both Santa
Um,
Claus. He had the
yeah,
white
so
beard too.
yeah, he's got white beard, the long
Oh
white
god.
hair, piercing blue eyes, and Dorian has this song that he sings when you're like everyone is trying to kill him and he just starts singing it. It's called
Uh-huh.
La Amour de ma vie de ma vie. There we go.
Oh.
It's French. And it's like
Ooh.
my love ma vie. And he sings it in this like raising bravado, like it sounds like you're in an opera and everyone gets distracted and then he like throws a grenade in their face. Like
He doesn't
it's
just look
the
like Santa.
greatest.
He looks like some gangster Santa.
He looks like a buff Santa.
No, he looks
He
like a
looks
gangster Santa.
he looks like the Santa when they say you better be good or else, like you better watch out. Like that's the Santa they mean when he's watching. It's terrifying. And
Oh
then
my gosh.
so imagine Buff Santa is fighting like One Punch Man's father, like a buff version of that. It's a bald, strong man with an eye patch. The two of them duke it out in an amusement park, and this comes
Oh
after Dorian
god.
has attacked. Yeah,
Just imagine an
Dorian's
eye
attacked.
patch
They
on the
gave him an
left
eye
side.
patch. Yeah, makes him look it makes him look rugged, as if he needed anything else to make him look
Oh my
intense.
gosh.
But essentially in the fight, um, once again, Dorian with the other inmates, he's trying to taste defeat. So he's going against the head of the Shinshinkai, but the way that they show him being brought
Hmm.
to the amusement park is pretty great. He tried to murder one of their members, so the whole squad showed up and escorted him to his ass whooping. Best thing I've seen in a minute. Like
All the stuff I've seen with like Dorian wise, I feel like Dorian will win.
he was like, no, he's good. He's a good fighter.
Oh yeah.
He's crafty too, but in this particular fight, it's not even the fight itself that makes it so great. It's the anticipation because Dorian goes into hiding, but this group spans across the world, so they can still pick him out, and they bring him to the location, and it's like they block off roads. They have people in the police force. They've got people as city officials, operators, any job you can think of, they all come together to make sure this
Let's
man,
go. This might be
yeah,
awesome. He's just fighting in a suit like Santa Claus.
yes, like it's just like look at him go, look at him go. This man is just impressive, and he's
Whoa.
so funny. He
I didn't
uses
expect
underhanded
that.
attacks, and it's great.
Even with
Like
one
every,
hand, still beating him.
it's ridiculous, and he doesn't just fight Dopo in that episode. He fights like several people, and he beats all of them. And it isn't until like the very end that he's like, all right. He's like, eh,
What the heck
I'm
is that?
bored of it. It's a
That
it's
was
a
crazy.
fantastic fight. It's a
Oh,
fantastic fight. Um, I I love Dorian. And you guys will become fans of him, and see him again.
instead of rooting for Baki, just root for Dorian.
They do Baki so wrong. They beat up Baki a lot in this show.
I'm
If you guys are
beat him up.
expecting, yeah, if you're
Oh,
expecting the main character to be out here taking W's, he's not. He is catching L after L. He gets beat up a lot. It's pretty bad. It's kind of concerning.
uh,
Which actually does bring us to our next fight, which is Baki versus Yanagi. Um, Yanagi, another one from our prisoner arc. He's a prisoner who also does human experiments, bombings, terrorist type. His
God.
technique uses gas and air pressure. So he'll use the pressure, air pressure that he can build up between his hands to like explode people's faces. He'll create poison for days on end just to mess you up. And him and Baki actually go head to head.
Oh yeah.
Have you have you ever gotten like have you ever eaten anything you weren't supposed to and gotten really
Mm.
sick, Mason? Like the throwing up,
What
like I
the?
gotta
His hands like blades?
no, not blades. No, like food poisoning or maybe you ate something you were allergic to. I don't know. I don't know what they used to be doing, but you probably had food poisoning before.
Oh shoot, that's interesting.
Food
I mean,
poisoning or are you watching a clip?
I don't think I got food poisoning necessarily. Um, the only really similar feeling I can actually feel is like when you're sick and you just not having any solids in you at all. So yeah, that's the only thing I can relate to being like poison wise.
Okay, because in the fight between Baki and Yanagi, Yanagi has a secret, not so much a secret technique, but a very special technique where he
Yeah,
creates this intense poison in a jar. It takes like 7 days to make. You have to be very specific with it. And he constantly coats his hand in it. So he makes a poisonous hand. So with one slap, it should kill you or incapacitate you. And when he goes head to head with Baki, who has now like manifest a new power. I won't tell you guys how. Like he manifests new power. He's stronger. He's more resilient. And the man slaps him multiple times.
sure
And
that
if
new
you
power is not like fluid of the body and stuff like that.
he's got like he does a
Yeah,
new technique that's like for fluidity with his movements, but he's still getting hit with the
yeah.
poison hand, which I also think people should understand that Baki is a good fighter, but that doesn't mean he's super smart because he was getting hit with his hand, but still being like, I'm still standing. And later on, you're like, yeah,
Mm.
you should have dodged that, buddy, because the after effects are, are pretty
They're not
bad.
appetizing.
No, he looks, like sickness personified, and it's absolutely terrible. Um, that's one of the good fights. And all of these fights, they do come about halfway through part one and like part two. So you get them pretty early on, but trust me, every episode has a fight. There's no there are filler parts, but most of the fights are pretty intense. Which brings me to my personal favorite fight, the one that I watch when I'm at the gym sometimes, but then
Oh,
it makes me laugh,
well, you still
which
watch
is
at the gym?
yeah, dude. Have you never gone to the gym and watched anime?
I mean, I have. I
Yeah, put
remember
on
I spent like
headphones.
2 hours on the treadmill and not even realizing 2 hours went by watching Bleach.
Exactly. Yeah, you
And
just
then my
keep
mom,
walking.
and then I have no, I don't know if I was walking. I was jogging 2 hours on the treadmill watching Bleach.
Sounds like a dream, honestly.
I mean, it sounds
Sounds
like
like
a
a good
dream,
time.
but the thing is,
You're
yeah,
out here getting fit and you're catching up on shows. Come on, nerds are the
uh,
best.
well,
Look
I
at
also have a
you.
habit. Okay, I also have a habit to maybe do too much and not realize I'm at my capacity.
Oh, okay, maybe yeah, okay. Then maybe we should. Does a thing pop up where it's like, are you still watching? Does that pop up when you're on the treadmill?
Oh no, I'm still watching. I'm still, but I have headphones in and everything.
No, I was saying like maybe if that popped up, it would be like, "Are you still watching? It's been like an hour and a half." Then you could be like, "Oh snap, I should go see my family or something." Whatever else you have to do in that day. 2 hours on the treadmill is insane. Oh my goodness.
I,
I'm not there. I'll do like 2 episodes of Baki or like one and a half, and then I'll get off and I'll feel like a new woman. I'll be like, look at me go. But
oh man.
for for this fight, the last one we're going over is against with big man himself, Yujiro Hanma, and then Kaku, which is he is 146 years old, and he
Taku
is the
Pal, the pen pal guy, is 106 years old.
146.
Dang, he's an old
Yeah,
pen pal.
he. We weren't gonna include that, bruh. We were gonna leave that in the draft. Not the pen
I liked it
pal.
too much.
Not so. Oh my god, I lost my train of thought. So, this 146-year-old man. When you look at him, he looks like any any old person you see in an anime. He's got the cane. His eyes are grayed out. He looks like he's blind, old and shriveled. And you think there's no way he's gonna go against the beast Yujiro. But during the fight, you find out that, he's been fighting this whole time. He's been honing his skills. He never stopped fighting. And uh a cat what is it? A cat I think actually we're not even saying it right. I think it's Kaio. I may have
Yeah.
told you the wrong way to say it. Anyway, so Kaio, title name,
Caillou
not
Cow Ha.
yes, the sound of karate. But that title basically means it's an honorary title for people who are experts and legendary with martial arts. And for him to have it after so many years, it just means that he's always and always will be at the top of
Oh
his game.
my. He looks like he has lizard skin.
It's as terrifying, right? It
It's
like
like scales and everything. Like
it
patterns on the
reminds
skin.
me it reminds me of when you put like Elmer's glue on your hand and let it dry.
Ooh.
Like that's what it looks like. Yeah. It's so gross. It's so
Like,
gross. I'm
oh,
just
no,
like
this looks good. Like he's sunbathing in the sun.
it's he's like if a raisin and like an older raisin had a child.
Yeah.
It's so wrinkly. It's so gross.
I can't
I mean, I'm
imagine
still rooting for him.
that last 146 years being dead on him. I mean,
Just tip
if you
tapping on
live
the
past
edge.
a century as well, you'll catch up with you as well when you age. Well, some actors don't show age, but he does show age. Oh,
Yeah, sometimes you get like the 2,000-year-old, like, fairy queen, and they look as youthful as ever. Like they have to go to their like dance recital, and then you have this man, um, very very old. But he is the one in the fight where he mentions that the fact that even with Yujiro's overwhelming strength,
mm,
um, martial arts and the heart of fighting is what really matters. And so he kind of embodies what the spirit of Baki is all about, of them persevering even through fights, even when like their fights are insane. The brutality, like they show you the X-ray, like like a skeleton breaking as they get hit, and you're just like, is this Mortal Kombat? Like, oh my god, they're finishing the crap out of each other. That sounded wrong. But either way, they break each other's bones, blood is spurting out, and they still fight through
yeah.
because I don't know, spirit of
The
fighting, I guess.
lion versus the prey. Seeing Kaku Yujiro Hanma. What the? He throws a wheelchair?
He's old.
What? And then
He's
Yujiro just
old.
balancing the wheelchair? That's funny.
He's so funny. Yujiro does also like he's totally fine with punching everyone at full strength. He's totally cool with just like murdering your grandpa. So keep that in mind, kids. When you're watching, keep that in mind. But yeah, those are three to me personally. Those are like three outrageous, like very iconic Baki fights.
What?
And
Oh boy. You know what he
Hmm?
reminds me? He reminds me of a recent shoot. Uh it was another anime on yeah, it was an anime on Netflix. It reminds me of the old character Zeus, the old
Like
shriveled up
Hercules?
little man. No,
Oh, you mean I know which one it is. It's yeah, where it's like they're doing the
yeah,
championship between humans and
yeah,
gods.
yes.
Yeah.
Baki reminds me of that. I just like,
Honestly,
oh
there
god.
has been discussion online where they're like, which Baki character do you think would survive in the Zeus anime? I'm just like, honestly,
There's no
honestly,
way. There's no way they would have like brass knuckles of deities that give him power. There's no way.
and it's Record of Ragnarok. It's the
Yes,
one with
Records of
Zeus.
Ragnarok.
Honestly, no, no. You know what? You have to take that back because I'm not gonna
Yeah.
spoil it for you guys. But in the fights for record, like for one, if you watch it, it's a great show. It's got good fights. Just be prepared for it to feel kind of like a kind of like a video game, like a cutscene video game,
Hmm.
in the way that they show it. But the way that the humans are actually able to stay alive and fight in this show
Oh
is
gosh.
kind of Baki. It's kind of Baki-ish. Like
Yeah,
the way
no,
they
it's
get
more
away
than
with it,
Baki.
you're
What
like,
the?
really? That's cheating. But okay, it's fair. They are a god. Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
god. And then Zeus goes in the final form, gets all buffed up, and then he takes. Oh gosh. Oh, I don't even want to describe his final.
Just
Just
know
twists all
you
his
have Zeus
muscles, and
versus
then
Adam.
it's really the final form of Baki of Kakyu. That's what I'm
Yeah,
reminded of. Is the final form of Zeus.
look,
Oh.
and he's fighting against Adam from the Bible, guys. Adam, you know, Adam. He's fighting this beautiful face, like young, like could be a K-pop idol looking man,
Oh my gosh.
and you're just like, what
GFO.
am I watching?
GFO. Grandfather of the gods. GFO.
Absolutely mayhem. Absolutely mayhem.
He insults himself because he wants to beat up the fandom that they have. Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh.
It's pandemonium.
I love this.
You know what? I'm mentioning this one because I love JoJo Bizarre
Oh,
Adventure, and that's kind of what Baki reminds me of, with just less colors. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like less colors, but overly buff men who are like 12. Doesn't make any sense. Everyone wants to seem to murder them for some reason. It's like a family thing that you guys are gonna have a hard not life.
what
And
the?
I just
What is this video? Could Yujiro Baki be a bodybuilder and then they have a real life bodybuilder beside him? What the?
well, a
What
lot of
the?
Baki is based off of real life techniques and they're based
Yeah.
off of real people.
Oh
But
my gosh.
and I think there is a fighter who's named Baki.
Yeah.
But they also have videos like if you guys want to do
Yeah.
workout videos, they have workout videos where it's like I train like Baki every day for a year, and you get to see people go through that. Like you can watch it and be like, "Wow, could it be me?" But wow,
That's like the One Punch Man training. Yeah, video tried to do that and had to cut it back to actually slowly meet up the demand of what the training was. Because the bot actually,
absolutely
because
terrible.
it's proven that the human body cannot endure the training for as long as Saitama did it. Because your body needs rest, you can't keep going without rest. So if you're in the bodybuilding industry or want to work out, pace yourself because the human body only endures so much. It's very
Or you
fragile.
can do steroids, which
That's even worse. That's even worse.
it, but results.
We'll,
Disclaimer:
we
we're not saying
we
do
do
steroids.
not endorse this, okay? This is not endorsed by MC
Results.
Anime. So let Leo say her thing, but she's Because
I
when the
highly doubt anyone is
yeah,
going to watch Baki after listening to this and be like, I need to get on that. I need. I highly doubt that. If
this is
anything,
not
they're
the
gonna be
Russian
like,
Olympics now,
"What?
so the bicycles will safe.
Safe for now."
Oh my gosh.
I absolutely love this show. It's so ridiculous. The story is it's a decent story to follow. Like after a certain part, it is just mainly people punching each other. So
Yeah,
there's
but
that.
it
Like
builds it up the punch. You start to punching and builds it up.
it does build it up. No, I'm saying that even when you're watching it though, there is a certain extent after where you're like, I know you're gonna fight. Like even when people are calmly talking to each other, Baki's that show where you're everyone's standing around talking casually, and then the table flips upside down, and someone's been punched in the face, and you're just like, I guess this is dinner. Like, all right,
Let's
it's
see.
pretty normal for that one.
If you like Baki, some other types of anime that it holds up to is the God of High School. You think of the God of High School for a second.
I like the manga for God of High School. I did not like the show.
Mm,
I thought the show was okay if you've never
yeah.
read the manga, though. The
And
great
like
if you've never
Baki,
read it,
yeah,
yeah.
like Baki, they have various fighting techniques. It's not all about punching; it's kicking, hitting, and other stuff. Weapons as well. So it's all different types. It's basic UFC free for all type battling. So that's what I really like about it.
Mostly, they do have other elements though.
Yeah,
A little bit later,
it's a
where you're
little
just
bit.
like,
Yeah, it's like
you're
how
everybody,
Saiyans get introduced later in JoJo, all that stuff. They
yeah,
weren't originally there.
yeah. Once you get a little bit later into it, you're like, oh, this is happening.
Oh
Well,
gosh.
whoop, what?
Uh, Ultimate Muscle, Kinnymon. Oh, that's an old one.
Uh, Hajime no Ippo is also a really good one that I like,
Yeah,
but that one's a boxing anime. I think it
yeah.
came from like the 80s.
Ooh, one
What?
that's actually really old that people don't know. It's Ultimate Muscle. Piece of history and it's hilarious. The Benso action, ridiculous fighting stereotypes boils down to a heightened taken on wrestling matches. This is a Kikumon. You know what Ki- Kikumon is?
No, no, I
You
don't.
don't know the guy that's like kind of pink, kind of white, but the trope of
Oh, you
wrestling?
know what? I pulled it up. Well, when you first said it, I didn't hear the ultimate part. So I
Yeah,
just typed in Muscle Man anime and I was not getting any of the results that you were
the
reading.
ultimate
But no,
muscle.
I was just like, oh, there we go. Yeah, no. I remember this from way back. It's like a fever dream how I remember this one.
A
I'm just like,
beaver
oh, this is
dream.
yeah.
How do you
Like
remember it?
Ultimate Hero.
Yeah.
I have older brothers.
Oh, let's
Yeah,
go.
like yeah, so like I remember seeing it like every now and then I'd be like, that's weird. And then keep it pushing. Just I was just like, "Oh, okay. That was something I guess I saw." And I couldn't figure out what his head was. So, I think I just stopped looking at it.
I
It's
think it's
like
like a
Uncanny
one.
Valley.
I think he was like a unicyclops, but instead of the eye, it's a horn, a unicorn.
I just don't get the little tuft of hair, like in the very front of the very middle of his head. Like, boop.
Well, we also have box as well, based off of Fightless Joe. You know what I'm talking about? Box. They
Microbox. Is
take
that the
on
robot
boxing that's
one?
for. It's kind of like yeah. It was based off Fightless Joe. That was I think popular in the '60s and
Yeah, this one's
'70s.
on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it
That was
is.
on Netflix. Yeah. Oh,
But
there's your record of Ragnarok.
yeah, but you also have Fightless Joe because that's a boxing anime too. Like
I never watched this one though. I will be
Fightless
honest.
Joe?
I did not. Mm-mm.
You never watched Fightless Joe?
I did not. No, I didn't.
Oh well.
If I did, I probably saw like maybe
I'm
a
also
bit of
pulling
it.
up a
But
bunch of classic anime too, so she kind of
yeah, there's other classics that I've seen, but not that one.
who.
Oh, there's Kenichi. See, my thing is that they always put like interesting ones on here.
Yeah,
Like I don't even know what the heck
and actually,
charge is.
Baki really takes on different attributes, predecessors of like fighting, brawling type anime before. I mean, it's like almost like a sport kind of thing. Like the reason how they take it so seriously, not only fits fights but also burn muscles. Like not all the time does the muscle win over the bonds, but sometimes the brains can win as well. But
Oh, I mean, definitely. Like you see it a few
like
times in Baki,
yeah,
actually.
and a lot of the brains in fighting, you can still be bronze, but you can also be smart how you fight with the bronze you have. So keep that in mind because
For
Baki's
what
done it all the
occasion?
time when he fights. Yeah, well, what is the one thing that Baki does that kind of gives disadvantage to the opponent? They can't predict his movement, or is he able
Um,
to counter more aggressively
Honestly,
than they?
no. It's for me when you watch Baki, the one thing you notice is that I think for him in
Hmm.
comparison to other like main characters in shows where it's all about fighting, he's one of
Hmm.
the few who when he's fighting his opponent, yeah, he kind of like he wants to win, but at the end of the day, all Baki really cares about is fighting his dad. So I think that
True.
he has the mental fortitude to be able to continue fighting, even when he loses a lot, or he can have draws, but his ability to not be broken mentally because he knows what his goal is. Like until he beats his dad, he can't let himself lose mentally. Like his body will
Oh
recover,
yeah.
all of that. But
If
that's
you
what I
were to
think is his
lose
thing.
and lose the drive to fight the dad, then the entire backdrop of a bear hug gets thrown out the
Again,
window.
I don't
You
think
can't.
they're going to do it via bear hug. I'm gonna be honest with you. Honestly, that would be a hilarious way for Baki to like kill his dad off. Like
Tell
just return the bear hug.
him people we're not advising you to do it to your dad. So FYI, don't be
We are
like
at the
their
holiday
relationship.
season.
Yujiro and Baki's relationship is one of a kind. The Hanma family is not one we are endorsing for the typical American family, or any family for that matter. So just throw
Yeah.
that out there.
Yeah, no, no, don't
What?
like
You,
don't do that. Oh my
oh,
goodness.
another one that Baki compared to is Fist of the North Star.
Oh, that one's a pretty good one.
And anyone that doesn't know what Fist of the North Star, it's martial arts set in the post-apocalyptic akin to the one found in Mad Max. Martial artist who knows exactly what to strike someone to cause them to lose their glorious fashion. It was aired in the 80s, has lots of spin-offs on games and other etc. franchises, but it really engages the fighting multitude. Even though it's post-apocalyptic and gets in a totally different genre, it still sets the groundwork for how Baki sets it in the fighting scenes and how they portray it.
Yeah, because I mean, one thing about Baki, you're not gonna watch it and think it is the most original thing in the world. You're gonna be
Yeah.
like, I've definitely seen this concept before. For me, I would say closest would be semi closest would probably be like Yu Yu
Yeah.
Hakusho
Yeah.
because that has the same premise. Like only difference is that Yusuke doesn't really, have a driving goal when you first are
Yeah.
introduced to him to like find his dad and like beat him
Mhm.
up or make him atone for whatever he did.
Yeah.
But through the second half of the show, you definitely see it more and more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Ooh, how about Fighting Spirit? Looking at the ultimate underdog story. You know what I'm talking about? Fighting Spirit.
No.
Okay, Fighting Spirit boxing is the battle straight share 15's visual, extremely violent, largely boiled down to a test of will. Um, he's a fighting spirit. Physical and mental training takes center stage throughout the anime various season. But yeah, it's basically the a story of the ultimate dog actually boxing the typical Joe that you not want to win, but he just is unexpected in the victories that he gets. And would you
It
call
sounds
Baki an
similar
underdog?
to. Hmm?
Would you call Baki an underdog necessarily? Would people
Um,
underestimate him a lot?
yeah, he does get that. He gets that quite a bit.
Hmm.
Um, in the very beginning, you'll see him be underestimated, but in regards to afterwards, Bucky's not the underdog. For one thing, when it comes to Baki, they do kind of switch up the perspectives quite a bit. So they don't focus completely on him. So you will get like almost full episodes with no Baki in it. Like, because he's still a high school student. Like he has other things to do. So they'll focus on like the escape murderers running about Tokyo. Um, or like his father or other teachers were out there doing battles. It's not just specifically Baki, but they do show his transition even in between those fights. So nah, I wouldn't call him an underdog. He's
Okay.
too strong. Yeah, he's too
Too
strong to be an
strong.
underdog.
He's too sneaky to be the underdog. I guess that's where I get it. Huh? So sneaky.
Sneaky.
Yeah, he's sneaky
Where
at
does
being the underdog.
sneaky come from?
It's fight no fights. He's he's showing all his true colors right on the surface. He's gonna fight you with true honor, and there's nothing underneath the table, and also there's no underestimating strength. You know the strength he has.
How to make him
Like a
sneaky?
sneaky approach of being the underdog.
But he's not the underdog.
I
The
know.
only person Baki is the underdog to is his father. and and that's not even an underdog. Like his father literally puts him through a wall at one point. Like they're waiting at the tournament. They're at the tournament, and his father's just like, "I'm tired of you talking." He puts him through a wall. That's it.
Yeah,
It's like my God.
yeah. If you
So
have estranged fathers, best thing
any,
is to make up with them, unless you get like Yujiro and just totally
I mean,
sack the rest of your life.
oh my God, what's the name of the father from Hunter X Hunter? He's
Oh,
hilarious.
Don's father is
Yeah,
so
yeah. He
interesting. Oh,
he when you're introduced to him, the way he says, he's like,
yeah,
"If you try and find me, son, I'm gonna run." And it's like, what? He said, like he's literally letting you
yeah.
know he does
Again, is
not want to
so
be a father.
weird like that. Like
He is a terrible father.
I don't know why Gon wants to find Gin so much, and then still when he finds him, he's like in the dark continent and stuff. It's like what?
Yeah, it's not even like
So
a nice place to
long.
go. Yeah, it's
Took
ridiculous.
so long to find him in the story. And anyone that doesn't know, Hunter x Hunter is going on a quest to find Gin because he has to do the hunter exam because Gin, the father of Gon, is actually a hunter. Hunters are special people that have special licenses in different areas that have different occupations. So it's like a noble title to have if you're a hunter, and there's different types of people, cheese and all that stuff, gourmet hunter. So there's different ones you can get, but once you find a field you succeed in, that's the goal. X Hunter is the definition. And they also use you later found that they use yin, and that's the fighting system and the originating from it. It's actually a really good adventure story as well.
Yeah, I love Hunter x Hunter. Like, good luck to you guys waiting for the end of it. We're all
Yeah,
waiting, but
yeah. Oh
but it's
man.
a great show. Um, oh, forgot. Okay, so now that we've gone through, what is the number one show that's the closest to Baki? Almost said Berserk, and that was not correct. Baki.
You
What is
have
it?
Kin
Keegan Ashura?
Kinjan sure, yeah.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I remember this one.
Oh
This
yeah,
one
with the
is
style of the
ridiculous.
animation, it hits the
Yeah.
ground running in every department. Hits the ground running. Here we go. We go on a running trip. In the universe, business deals are decided through underground battles, with each company having its own representative. Now, Baki, this basically means Kinjan Ashura takes place in Shamban's backstory. The majority of the anime revolves around Kyria Nation tournament competition to determine the new chairman of the association that sets up the. Huh.
I think that makes it slightly clearer of anyone who hasn't seen it. But it's another
That's
fighting one.
really
It's just a
interesting.
tournament one.
It's a tournament base, but it's all about the underground sector. Which
Hmm.
Baki does take some sectors in the underground, but then most of the fights are above ground, about past that. So Baki gets a start in the underground, but this entirely thing relates in the underground, and the power dynamic of the chairman of the organization. Huh.
Yeah, I remember watching it. Like it's a decent story and the fights are like insane. It's just like if anyone has ever seen Berserk, the way Berserk's animation is, where it
Yeah.
makes you like want to bash your head into a wall because you're like, why do they look like this weird 3D creature? I don't like it. That's what you're gonna see in Kinshon. It's gonna be you
Talk
watching
bad
it.
about Berserk. I love Berserk.
Berserk has terrible animation.
The animation story's there.
That's not what I said. I said the
Hmm,
animation.
I feel offended.
Relax. Well, you should, I guess, but that doesn't mean like the animation isn't trash. The animation is trash. The music, the story, everybody else, great. The animation, like it's one of those shows that once you watch it for a bit, you're gonna get used to the animation style. You're not even gonna think about
I
it.
can't get over that Horseman Jack kind of drawing of the horse. Oh my god,
No
the horse
spoilers.
is so terrible.
It's not the only thing.
I know, but still.
Like I'm like starting to sweat from the stress of thinking about it. Oh my god. Um. So yeah. So those are very similar shows that you can watch in regards to Baki, and
Yeah.
it's been out. Like I said, since 2001. Netflix then picked it up in 2018. So
Mm,
you get to also binge watch it and enjoy the content.
yeah.
I absolutely love the show. I think it's a solid fighting show. I think you can sit there and watch it for a good minute and
Oh
time
yeah.
just flies by.
If
So,
you like Leah, don't skip anything. She would just skip right from Grippler to the Netflix without watching Grippler.
I mean, you don't have to.
I know, but like, why would you want to advise them to skip the entire thing?
I didn't tell them to skip it. I just told them that they're gonna have
Oh,
to look on YouTube to find that
oh,
like
okay,
multiple hour one.
maybe.
Well, where else would they find it?
Sorry, guys. She's advising you to skip the entire thing. Unfortunate.
I literally said the opposite, but if it's opposite day for you, that works for me. Um, so yeah, that's Baki, guys.
Instead of
It's the
opposite
fighting
day, it's
anime.
the again day. The same day. There we go. It's the same day.
Wow. You stopped my eggs of speech for that. That's what you had cooking in the pot that you were like about to do it to him?
I
Swear.
can't, if I did that, I'll lose my train of thought.
You did not have you know what? You're not dragging me into this. I'm wrapping this up. Guys, this was the Baki episode. Everything that you need to know about the show, some of the characters, some of the fights, and
Oh
then
yeah,
other relating shows that are pretty close to it. Honestly, if you like fighting animes or you just like seeing people give it their all, this is a
yeah.
great show. It's awesome. Do you have
And
anything?
well, I would have liked how the show not only presents itself in modern day, it took inspiration from the past, so we see different fighting techniques and elements of the suspense of building up the fight scene. You know, that classic wrestling type storyline where you have this character, and they just for weeks go back and forth to the big match at the pay per view. That's really what Baki exemplifies for me. And having that build up and the storyline leading to your show and the tournament and the people escaping from prison, Baki sometimes just being completely MIA and you just see new people fight, really encompasses not only the environment where Baki grows up, but how Baki exemplifies what it meant to be in pure fighting bare hand combat. There's nothing else I can describe it with. Because
No,
I
I
know
mean that's pretty
Leah's
spot
gonna have
on.
arms. Is gonna take up arms with me because of my bad puns and everything else. But I feel like Baki
What is
is
with you
really
today?
good for everything for watchers to enjoy. Even though it'd be enjoyable for Leia to try to punch me right now, but she's on the other side of the phone, so I don't know if that's gonna.
This is a weird time for me. Here I
Why?
am loving Baki, and you just keep coming for me. Y'all, if you want to watch part one, watch it. It's just him fighting in the underground, or just watch the
Yeah,
one on Netflix. Either one. Like it's literally just fighting. You're not going to miss anything. But yeah,
yeah.
that's it. That's
Baki is
it.
one of those storylines that you're not gonna find the heart of the underdog, but what you're gonna find is a character motivated and have the mental fortitude to keep going. And I also believe that if you keep going with it, you're gonna like it. Not only does it have genuine qualities that presents itself as the anime it should, but it also, you know, it's just there's not much else you can get wrong. Just having two characters just battle it out, see who is stronger, and go from there. I really think that if you like that simple storyline, that it's just not even surface level, it's beyond surface level for me because it's really exciting. It builds it up, and you just have everything at sky's the limits when it comes to the show of Baki. What do you think?
I mean, I can't disagree. Like it's a 10 out of 10 anime. I think we hit everything. Like
Well,
at
there
this
you go,
point,
folks.
yeah. At this point, go watch it, guys. Go check it out. If you like the video, so you can let us know. Honestly, it's a great show. It's a solid show. It's a good watch. Don't put too much thought into it. Don't when you see something insane, don't think about it for too long. Just
Exactly.
let it roll over you. All
That's all
right.
we have, folks. See you later. NC
See you
Anime
later.
signing off.